Welcome to my last video for year 2021, which is also a recap video for all the major tech events that happened during the year. 2021 was good for tech industry as we saw a lot of innovation in cloud gaming, cloud computing, custom SoCs, also ARM gaining a lot of traction in the computer industry as a whole, and Intel finally switching to 10 nanometer after 5 years of delay. So there's a lot to cover in very less time. So without further ado, my name is Shubhanshu. You're watching Master Shubhanshu. Let's go ahead. Okay, so first thing first, Intel finally switched to their 10 nanometer fabrication technology after years of delay. 5 years to be precise, and it's a huge deal for Intel and PC industry in general. As we can see from the reviews of 11th gen Tiger Lake H or 12th gen desktop Alder Lake, performance implications of switching 10 nanometer is huge. According to Intel, they got 14% increase in efficiency by switching from 14 nanometer to 10 nanometer, and then further 3 to 4% by switching to 10 nanometer plus Superfin, which Intel rebranded to Intel 7, which we're not going to talk about, but yeah, we can say that it's a big year for Intel and PC industry in general, because hey, you cannot deny that Intel is still the biggest in terms of CPUs. And while we are on the topic of CPUs, I cannot resist myself to talk about Intel's 12th gen Alder Lake stuff. Intel's 12th gen Alder Lake was a major paradigm shift for the PC industry as a whole. It was the first time the PC chip came with big little design, and as we can see from the reviews, the Intel 12th gen Alder Lake stuff was very powerful but not so efficient. I don't know why it was like that. Maybe because it's first generation, but I guess Intel will work on efficiency more when they will launch their mobile chips, which is 12th gen Alder Lake H, I guess, and we'll have to wait for that. Make sure you get subscribed so do not miss my coverage on that. While we're on topic of big little, let's talk about ARM. Earlier, every chip inside your desktop or laptop was made by AMD or Intel. Both of the companies used x86 architecture and only shipped their processors with performance cores. This was the reason that PC chips were not considered as efficient as our smartphone chips, and this was the main reason why Intel wasn't able to make the chip for the iPhone at the first place. The reason why our smartphones are as efficient as they are is because they use processors designed by a company called ARM. The USP of ARM is that they use a design called big little, which means that the processor is divided into cluster of big little cores, where the big cores or the performance cores are capable of handling foreground tasks like games, and the efficient cores or the little cores handle your background tasks like your weather app or Truecaller or something like that. This drastically affects the battery life of your phone. Since the small cores, which are not so power hungry, are handling all the background tasks, smartphones have longer battery life. And with the launch of Apple M1 chip, we can see how efficient ARM actually is. Just by replacing the Intel chip with Apple M1 and keeping everything same, we got double the battery life in the 13-inch MacBook Pro from 10 hours to 20 hours, and it's a huge deal for people on mobile. But what about Windows on ARM? Currently we only see crappy Windows on ARM devices because of an exclusivity agreement between Qualcomm and Microsoft, which prevents other vendors from using Windows on ARM on their chips. This is the reason why you cannot get Windows on ARM directly on M1 Max. Not M1 Max, but M1 Max. You know, MAC. Leave it. But there's a good news in between. The exclusivity agreement of Qualcomm and Microsoft is going to end this year, so probably next year we will see more powerful chips for Windows on ARM devices. MediaTek is working on one, and I guess Windows on ARM will be launched as service just like Windows 10 or Windows 11 after expiry of this agreement, and I'm looking forward to that. So for the people who were eyeing on M1 Max but wanted to use Windows, now you can take a sigh of relief and wait for Windows on ARM to be available as a service. By the way, my explainer video on how ARM got powerful is coming. Get subscribed so you do not miss that. Now let's move to smartphone. This year we saw some moves in the smartphone industry. The 5G phones got cheaper and cheaper phones got 5G, and also there are some major device launches like Samsung's Z lineup, there's Z Fold and Z Flip, Google's Pixel lineup with Tensor chip. Tensor chip made Google Pixel one of the best, if not the best phone. And if you keep its price in mind, which I can't because unfortunately Google didn't launch it in India, the Pixel phone becomes the best phone overall. In terms of innovations, Samsung's Z lineup, their foldables, were a major release this year, mainly because of two or three reasons. First, they were the first foldables to come with IP rating. Second, they were the first mainstream smartphone to come with what do you say, under display camera. They were certainly the first foldables to come with under display camera. And third, they were the first phone to come with dual 120Hz display. There were other phones with under display cameras that were launched in particular reason, but I'm not considering them because they were not launched globally. So Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 5G is really the first phone to come with under display camera, the first mainstream phone to come with under display camera. Also Samsung added IPX8 for 1.5 meters of ingress protection. Cloud gaming also got a lot of traction during this year, especially due to rise in COVID-19 pandemic and chip shortages. More people started streaming games. According to a survey by Twitch, there were 9.89 million streamers in the month of January, which reduced to 8.07 million at the end of September this year because of everything getting reopened and people started going back to their jobs. Since now Omicron is spreading like fire and again there are chances of lockdown, I can see that cloud gaming is not going anywhere, and due to shortage of chip, which according to analysts is going to last till 2023, I think people will migrate towards cloud gaming because there they do not need some top-notch hardware to play the games. Speaking of top-notch, Microsoft moved a notch above other companies and launched Windows 365, which is a cloud version of Windows. Earlier they had cloud computing thing in their Azure department, but with launch of Windows 365, they are trying to commercialize it. Now, I cannot tell you about Windows 365 in detail because I cannot buy it because currently it's out of service because of the servers being full. My explainer video about cloud computing and cloud gaming is coming soon. Make sure to get subscribed so you don't miss that. So that's all for this year. Hope you liked this, and if you did, it would be awesome if you hit the thumbs up. And yeah, I purposefully left Apple's M1 Pro and M1 Max because I think they have got a lot of coverage from other reviewers and I do not think they deserve so, especially because of the software nightmare that's going on. They are good devices, and if you want to buy Mac, you will buy Mac. You do not need me telling you something about that. Speaking, while we are on Macs, what were the biggest gadget announcement for you during the year? Do let me know in the comments. Also, what are your expectations from year 2022? What do you think will be the next big thing in the tech industry? Do let me know in the comments. And also, Happy New Year to all of you. May this new year brings a lot of peace, happiness and prosperity in your life. We are ending 2021 with 21 subscribers, which is cool, but it's not a big number, and I certainly feel bad about that. So please subscribe. On that note, this is Shubhanshu signing off. See you later. Peace.